This has got to be the most frustrating thing ever. Of all the companies to approach an open metaverse concept, why does it have to be Facebook? They're the exact opposite of the kind of company that I want to trust with something as important as the metaverse. This is going to be sort of a rant about how Facebook is just kicking and screaming, trying to find a way to stay relevant over the decades to come. Hey guys, it's Doug. Facebook, or I guess Meta now, came out with their intent to build an open public metaverse that Mark Zuckerberg has been talking about building for a while. And guess what? We're all doomed. Listen, I think the idea of a metaverse is awesome, but I don't think that Mark Zuckerberg and Meta are the ones that we should trust to do it. In case you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll put a link down in the description and you can watch the full video, but be warned, it's like an hour long. This is clearly targeted towards a younger audience. Facebook has a real problem where a lot of their users are aging out of the platform, or they're just not joining it in the first place. And that's a big problem since they get most of their money from selling ads to users. If their user base goes down, so does their revenue. From a business perspective, Meta really needs to have this audience to be able to sell ads to in the future. If you don't understand how to use something like Zoom, you're not going to understand the metaverse, and you're not their target audience. Other metaverse projects already exist. One of them was really popular, started back in 2003, was called Second Life. This is a lot like creating a sim of yourself and then going out and playing in this big virtual world. It even got to the point where you could buy and sell real estate. Like, take a look at this video. These people do real estate for Second Life as their job.
He was leaving a 13-year job.
Yeah.
But we were really pretty much confident that this would do fine.
We've been in business since 2005 in Second Life.
Each of us put in $250 each USD to buy ourselves a sim. A sim is as one island. And before we knew it, that rented out and we made profit. We took that profit and turned it over and bought another sim, and another, and another, and another. We start watching TV, sitting back, playing Second Life, working, watching Raymond. It's sort of like real life, except you're playing an avatar.
As a whole, technology is way better than it was in 2003. What we think of as a metaverse now is going to be a lot different than what it could have been in 2003. But I imagine that we're going to end up with something similar, but just updated. What is Meta going to do differently? There are also a few blockchain projects that use the metaverse. One of them is called Sandbox, and Sandbox has a really cool ecosystem where you can buy and sell property using their blockchain tokens. You can create items and buildings and anything that you want in your property, and other people can visit it. You can even set up a billboard and run ads for people who come to your space, and then you can monetize that. It's all about you, not a company like Meta telling you what you can and can't do, selling to you, and then taking a cut of all the profits. The main difference with something like the Sandbox is that they have a particular artistic style they're going for, and it's a little more of a Minecraft, Roblox-y feel, instead of like an actual like real life replacement sort of thing. So keep in mind, these are all a metaverse in the sense that they're a virtual place for you to visit. They're not really a combination of virtual reality and augmented reality. That's one of the things that Meta's trying to do, but again, it's so that they can sell you things, not so that you can have this great immersive metaverse with no strings attached. The concept of a metaverse is not new, yet it seems like Meta is already positioning themselves to be the main name brand associated with the metaverse. Just think about it. Every time somebody says metaverse, they're getting free promo. Their brand name is in the name of the metaverse. It's so obvious that this shift in name not only represents that Facebook wants to be more than Facebook as a company, but also that they're just trying to corner the market using this particular name and branding. I'll admit, it's clever, but is Facebook really the company that we want to trust with building something this incredible? Something where we're likely going to spend hours or even days of our lives inside this metaverse. Other companies have already created immersive digital spaces for users to interact, but now Facebook comes along and says, ooh, I want that, and they plant their flag and they go, thanks, I'll take that. Rude. So what are the odds that this metaverse turns into just a more complicated version of VRchat? In real life, you would not expect a bunch of people dressed as Keanu Reeves to come bursting through the door and interrupt your work meeting. But in the metaverse, anything is possible. It's not a matter of if it's gonna happen, but when it's gonna happen. You see things like this take place when there's a lot of digital anonymity. Like, for example, over the last 2 years, how many times have you heard about someone getting their Zoom call crashed by a bunch of kids or a bunch of people from 4chan? That's a thing that people do because it's funny or because they want to grief you. It's just a thing that happens when you let people do what they want on the internet. Beyond having a cartoon Knuckles show you the way, if you ever played Minecraft on a public server, you know how big of a problem griefers can be. If somebody who you don't want to get into your space gets in there, there's a good chance that they could destroy everything you've created with very little effort. So you might be asking, why would Meta even create this metaverse? What's in it for them? Well, the answer is simple. It's ads and commission. It's easy enough to avoid ads when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. Like, you sometimes just don't even see them because you see so many. With the metaverse, how are we going to deal with that medium of advertising? Meta's goal is likely the same as Facebook, and that's to make some profit off of the personal information of their users. So imagine this. You're in your personal space in your metaverse, and Facebook wants to give you an ad. So what do you think their options are? Do they take over your VR headset and you just see a full screen ad and that's all you see, you watch it for a few seconds and then you skip out of it? Or do they take a picture on your wall and they just replace the picture content with an ad they think is relevant? Or do they put it on your virtual TV? Either way, they're taking this private space that is uniquely yours and they are selling an ad slot for somebody to get a product in front of you. That is their goal, is to sell things to you. And that's a huge deviation from what I would consider privacy, even in a digital space. In the hour-long trailer that Meta put together, Mark Zuckerberg mentioned a scenario where somebody is at a concert and they want their friend to join them, so they just jump into the metaverse and they join their friend at this concert. That's not how that's gonna work. I mean, think about it. You can't just walk into a concert right now because your friend's there, right? You can't go to a Jake Paul fight just because one of your friends bought a ticket. You can't just walk in with them. That's not how that works. You have to pay for access. People get in trouble for restreaming fights and live events. The same thing would happen if you were restreaming it inside the metaverse. Do you really think that venues would just let the metaverse be a way around them getting money? No way. They're gonna want a slice of the pie. So what that means is you'll probably get the ability to join your friend virtually at a concert for a lesser fee. Let's say that they paid $50 for a concert ticket, you might pay $10 to get to join them. And that kind of makes sense because the venue doesn't want just like one person to buy a $50 ticket and then have 2,000 people join them and experience the concert virtually when they only made $50, right? They need to incentivize people to still actually go to the concerts. It's subtle, but it's actually really important for the diversity of Meta because right now they just sell you goods or services, but with the ability to make commissions on you, that's a whole nother revenue stream that's not really popular on Facebook right now, which opens them up to even more potential income than they have just from serving you ads alone, and that's a big deal for Meta long term. I'm excited for the metaverse. As a concept, it's really cool, and a company like Meta with enough resources like Facebook will likely get some sort of metaverse to go mainstream. Just because they're such a big company, they can almost will it into existence by pushing it onto their existing users and just the media buzz that's going to happen about this product. Just because it's the metaverse we're likely going to get doesn't mean it's the one that we want. I have a feeling that if the same exact metaverse was created by some indie dev company, that it would probably just end up like VRchat or some VR-based MMO. You wouldn't really hear anything about it in the media, and they definitely wouldn't be able to push it through the way that Facebook is going to. Being force-fed a new technology just so that they can push more ads down my throat, it's uncomfortable to say the least. So what are your thoughts on the metaverse? I'd really like to know if you feel about it the same way that I do. Maybe you have another opinion. Let's talk about it. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, happy coding, and I'll see you in the next one.